Hi everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. My name is Jared. In this video, I want to go over Revelation chapter 14. This is part of a series that I'm doing. I'm going over the book of Revelation. I didn't do the first few chapters, and you don't have to watch these in order, but they're all under my book of Revelation playlist in case you want to see the other ones, where we're basically just reading through these different chapters and then seeing what it says in the Institute manual, and from time to time looking at some other things. So anyway, we're going to dive into this. Before we do, this is the update on the Flood the Earth challenge where we're sharing copies of the Book of Mormon. And so we're at a total of 5,152 copies of the Book of Mormon that have been shared, with a total of 481 people that have joined the challenge, which hopefully that'll continue to go up. Again, my videos get thousands of views, so I would encourage you, if you haven't done this yet, let me know when you send out a copy of the Book of Mormon. And you can be anonymous if you want to. I have a row over here just for people that want to remain anonymous. Between all the anonymous people, there have been 83 copies of the Book of Mormon that have been shared. And then um, most importantly, there's been some new baptisms reported. Now, I don't know if I have this number right. I have to check with this one person. Her name is Grace, and she's been watching the channel since the very beginning. And she's been doing the challenge, and she's had, I think, 4 baptisms. But she sent me pictures for 2 of them, and here they are. These are the recent baptisms. So this is Grace right here, this girl on the left, and then of course the person in the baptismal suit. This is the person that got baptized, and her name is Geraldine Day. And Grace has a quote from her. Geraldine says, "I know that my Redeemer lives. Because he lives, he is not just someone that I read about. He is my friend, my brother, and my living Savior. Because he rose from the grave, he can help me to live better each day. He can strengthen me, care for me, and redeem me." Sister Geraldine Day. So congratulations to you, Geraldine, if you watch this. And we got permission through Grace. She talked to them, so this is okay. So this is 1, and that is very exciting. And then she also has this person here, just Sister Susan. So here she is. And she says, "There's no better way to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ than by lifting, loving, and serving others. Doing something brand new that I've never done before feels scary, but I guess that's just what faith is. I do believe that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the light. I know all will be made well as I continue to trust and follow him. His salvation cometh through none else." So this is just so great. So congratulations to Geraldine and to Susan, and then everybody else that's been baptized and are new members of the church. For anybody else, if you that have reported baptisms, if you have pictures or anything like that, I should have called for this before, but if you have them, feel free to email them to me, and then I'd be happy to share those as well. So good job, everybody. I feel like this challenge is very important. It's probably one of the more important things I've ever done. Um, there's so many times I wish that that I personally have had. I wish I would have had success myself. I've been ever since I came home for my mission. I've been trying. I've given out copies of the Book of Mormon to people at work and people I know, and none that I know of have accepted the gospel and become baptized. And that's okay. I know it's just giving out the Book of Mormon, but I'm happy that I've been able to assist by doing this tracker, which helps encourage people to share the Book of Mormon. And so this is just really great. Makes me really happy. So thank you, Grace, and everybody else that's participating. All right, so let's get into the book of Revelation. The chapter heading says, "The Lamb will stand upon Mount Zion. The gospel will be restored in the last days by the angelic ministry. The Son of Man will harvest the earth." Okay. "And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Sion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads." Really quick, you guys, just as a reminder, I have done an entire playlist just on the 144,000. So far, there are 16 videos. This one will be included, making it 17 videos, the one that we're doing right now. And we've talked about the fact that this is something that seems to have already taken place. It's not like a a moment in time in the future that is yet to have happened. The reason why we say that, well, no, okay, I'll save that. I'll save that for later. Sorry, I'll do that as we're going through the Institute manual. So, okay, so Lamb on Mount Zion with the 144,000, with having his father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. That is a great sentence. Harpers harping with their harps. And they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. Remember, this is referencing the four beasts, which were actual beasts, um, not of this earth, according to Joseph Smith. They're actual beasts from probably some other world. And then the 24 elders, that would have been those that were in the spirit world at the time of the revelation that John had. Okay, we went over that in a previous video as part of this series. And these are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation, and kindred, and tongue, and people, saying with a loud voice, fear God, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth, and the sea, and the fountains of waters. And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest, day nor night, who worship the beast and its image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God in the faith of Jesus. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Right blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. And I looked, and I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle, and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, and he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the cluster of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Okay, so now let's look at the Institute Manual, Revelation chapter 14, verses 1 through 5, the 144,000. In contrast to the depictions of Satan's widespread influence and power recorded in Revelation chapter 13 and 14, offers hope. The opening verses of chapter 14 describe a group who have the Father's name written in their foreheads. They are clean and chaste. follow the land whithersoever he goeth, and are redeemed from among men, and they are honest and without fault before God. Through the prophet Joseph Smith, the Lord revealed that the 144,000 are high priests ordained unto the holy order of God to administer the everlasting gospel. For they are who are ordained out of every nation, kindred, tongue, and people by the angels, to whom is given power over the nations of the earth, to bring as many as will come to the church of the firstborn. The song that is sung by the 144,000 may be the same song that is recorded in D&C 84, verses 98 through 102. For more information about the 144,000, see Doctrine and Covenants 133, 17 to 18. For more information on God's name written in the foreheads of the righteous, see the commentary for Revelation 3, verse 12. So there's kind of a lot to this. So we've already, again, I'm not going to go over every single thing that I've researched, but that's why I have an entire playlist about the 144,000. But let me just give you a little taste of what we know so far. So I'm going to read you two quotes. Okay, one is from Joseph Smith Jr. himself. This can be found in History of the Church of the Latter-day Saints, George Albert Smith, published in 1950, volume 6, page 196. Okay, here we go. Sunday 4th. I attended prayer meeting with the quorum in the assembly room and made some remarks respecting the 144,000 mentioned by John the Revelator, showing that the selection of persons to form that number had already commenced. President Brigham Young held a meeting at Brother Chamberlain's in the neighborhood north of the city, and Elder Wilford Woodruff at Thomas Kingston's 6 miles east of the city. So, at the time of Joseph Smith, this had already started, okay? And we don't have a lot of details about that. Another thing that we know is, if you'll remember, when you go to the first time that we hear about the 144,000, and this is kind of like a big deal right here. Let's see, was it chapter 8? Oh, here it is, chapter 7. Okay. This event already took place. Look at this. These 4 angels being unleashed on the earth, this already took place. This is recorded by Wilford Woodruff. He said this at the dedication of the Salt Lake Temple. So look at this. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the earth should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, until we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So these 4 angels, and actually it says it here in the New Testament student manual. I'll just find it really quick. So we're going to chapter 7. Give me just 1 second. Just so you know, I'm not making it up. Okay, here we are. Seal of God in their foreheads. No. Okay, the angels. Okay, regarding the angels of destruction. So see this right here? Revelation chapter 7, verses 1 through 2, what we just read. Regarding the angels of destruction, President Wilford Woodruff taught, quote, God has held the angels of destruction for many years, lest they should reap down the wheat with the tares. But I want to tell you now that those angels have left their portals of heaven and are hovering over the earth, waiting to pour out the judgments. And from this very day, they shall be poured out. Calamities and troubles are increasing in the earth, and there is a meaning to these things. Remember this and reflect upon these matters. If you do your duty, and I do my duty, we'll have protection, and shall pass through the afflictions in peace and in safety. This particular quote comes from the Discourses of Wilford Woodruff, but you can also find this in the Young Women's Journal in an article called Temple Workers Excursion. And I've read directly from that in these videos right here. I take you to the BYU like archive where they have the original. So, okay. So let's get back to where we were. We're doing chapter 14. Here we are, 144,000. Let's get back to chapter 14 over here. All right. And then here's another interesting quote right here. This is in a thesis and dissertations for BYU by Darrell Wesley Judd in a paper called Zadok Knapp Judd, Soldier, Colonizer, Missionary to the Lamanites. This is with a paper by a student at BYU. You can find this. I have a video just about this right here. This right here, this guy, this is Zadok Judd. Okay, this is who we're quoting from. Difficult as it was for Zadok's mother to provide food for her family, she never forgot about their spiritual welfare. To help promote their religious growth, she took Zadok and the other boys to the patriarch, Joseph Smith Sr., and each received a blessing. Because of their poor financial condition, they did not pay for the blessing to be recorded, and the boys never received copies of them. It is an important experience for them, however, and 12-year-old Zadok remembered the occasion and some of the promises throughout his life. He said, quote, "He told me my name was recorded in the Lamb's Book of Life, and angels had charge to watch over me continually, in that I was one of the 144,000 that should stand as saviors upon Mount Zion in the latter days." So this is important, and this isn't all. This is just like a little taste of what I've looked into. So to watch the whole playlist if you want to. But there's a lot of people that are thinking that the second coming can't possibly be close because this hasn't happened yet. Because I suppose, I don't know, if you're one of these people, let me know in the comments below. I guess the way that they envision it is that there's going to be like a big, like during General Conference or something like that, it's going to happen, and then it's going to be really obvious to the whole church that all the 144,000 have been selected from all the tribes of Israel. But that doesn't seem to be the case. It really doesn't. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, Revelation 14, verses 16 through 12. 3 angels. Here's the angel Moroni visiting Joseph Smith. Okay, John saw 3 angels, which each proclaiming a message to the earth's inhabitants. The first angel brought, quote, the everlasting gospel, end quote, to the nations of the earth. Many Latter-day Prophets have taught that the angel represents Moroni. The angel may also represent a composite of many heavenly messengers, including Moroni, who have assisted in the latter-day restoration of the gospel. Elder Bruce R. McConkie pointed out, quote, the angel Moroni brought the message, that is, the word, but other angels brought the keys and priesthood, the power, end quote, from Doctrinal New Testament Commentary. In addition to bringing the everlasting gospel to the earth, the first angel announced that, quote, the hour of his judgment is come, end quote, a fitting message for a world that has been worshiping the beast. This message prepares the reader for the second angel, whose message is that Babylon is fallen, which means that wickedness will end. Babylon's sin is described as fornication, quote unquote, meaning that the wicked of the world have been unfaithful in their relationship with God, placing their affections and loyalties on false gods, and inducing others to follow this manner of living. To drink of the wine of this sin implies internalizing Babylon's evil ways. And by the way, I think it's important to note that receiving the mark of the beast in your hand or in your forehead, that it seems to be taught in our church that it's not a microchip or a barcode or some kind of technology, because when you go to other Christian denominations and their YouTube channels and books and stuff like that, they're looking for some like tangible thing like that. They're reading in a way that it's like a tangible object or device, okay? That it has to do with the world economy and all this different stuff. There's like this whole just like interpretation that's out there. Unfortunately, some of that has seeped in to our church with people that are, I'm sure, well-meaning, but they've listened probably a little bit too much to these other Christian denominations that don't have what we have: the Restored Gospel, Joseph Smith translations, commentaries from living prophets and apostles, and so forth, where what's taught is that this has to do with your works and your thoughts. The mark in your hand is like a symbol of what you do, because we do things with our hands. And then your forehead is a symbol for your mind. So are you doing bad things? Are you doing worldly things? Is that what's on your mind? Whereas in contrast, the saints are doing the opposite. They have the mark of God on their forehead, right? In their hand. Well, I don't know if it says hands for them, but and people have pointed out, you think about the going to the temple in the initiatory, right? When we're thinking about marking your forehead and all these different things. So I just want to point that out, and that's how I read this, and it seems like that's what's taught. What I know is not taught by our church is that there's going to be a microchip or something, and you have to choose between the microchip or not. It just isn't really make a lot of sense to me. Because of the impending fall of Babylon in the last days, the Lord has warned the Latter-day Saints to go ye out of Babylon, meaning that we must flee the wickedness of the world. The third angel described the judgments to come upon those who worship the beast and receive his mark. They will receive God's punishing anger. Okay, they will receive God's punishing anger, described as drinking the wrath of God without mixture or without dilution. Other scriptures teach that God's wrath is poured out only when all other efforts fail to persuade men to repent. And you guys, I feel like this just makes so much more sense. And you're actually seeing this going on in the world today. I look at some of my family members and friends and things that they're doing, and it's like they are going just the opposite direction. And that's not me judging them. It's an observation of what they're doing. Hopefully something will change in their life and they'll repent and return, right? I'm not judging them. Only God can judge them. And I hope that there is mercy for them, or that something will redeem them. But from my limited point of view, it's not looking good for some of them. And they totally have that mark of the beast in their forehead and in their hands. And sometimes it's just it's so not even like hidden. Just recently, I had a family member that posted a concert that they went to. It was the Muse. Let's see, Muse concert. And it was so bad, just like the imagery in that. Well, I mean, just look at this. Oh yeah, this is what I saw right here. This is like what their current concert looks like, I guess. It has this. Um, if you're waiting for microchips and barcodes and just high technology, I don't think you need to look that far. And I'm not judging all the people here, because you'd have to look at each one individually and have to be able to see into their hearts. But just on the surface level, this probably isn't looking too good. As far as like if you were to like guess, if you had to guess, If this group has the mark of the beast in their forehead and in their hands, I mean, and hopefully there are people here that do not, and they're like, you know what, I kind of don't like this, or they'll change. They'll repent. They'll stay away from things like this. Oh, for heaven's sake! Oh my gosh. Muse delivers the neoclassic rock goods in 8th trip to LA's Crypto.com arena concert review. That's kind of cool though. Maybe not the shape, but I'm a sucker for Tron, especially Tron Legacy. That's the more recent one that came out. And I would not be sad if we all dressed like Tron. um, anyway, but something else is going on right here. Okay. Oh, let's get out of here. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Did I read the rest of the? Yeah. Okay. Revelation 14, verse 13. Um, the dead which die in the Lord. John heard a voice saying, "Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord." This suggests that although the Lord's people generally will be protected from many of the judgments to come, some righteous individuals will die in the calamities and tribulations of the last days. Nevertheless, those who are righteous, to those who are righteous, death is associated with peace and joy. They quote, rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. You guys, this has been going on. Again, this is like another one of those things that people kind of look forward to as though it's yet to happen, tribulations and judgments and stuff like that. And it's already begun. Okay, take a look at my tracker. Let's see, timeline. Oh, maybe it's under prophets. I need to put this under timeline. No, I should have it under prophets. You go to my prophets and prophecy fulfilled, and it talks about here. I'm not going to find it because I have a lot of things, but under here somewhere, it does show that these things have already begun. That tribulations have already begun. That we're in that time, and you just look at this LDS military tombstone. Here we go. New church logo for the military tombstones. Is it going to pull up? Oh, this is like a... Here, let's go to images. Let's just go to this Wikipedia article. You guys, there are people that have already died in world wars since the time of Joseph Smith. And here's one right here on Wikipedia. And on the military tombstones, you can have your religion put on there. So this one over here, that's Community of Christ. And then I don't know if they've changed that, the Angel Moroni, but for Latter-day Saints, that's what it was, at least. I don't know if it still is or if they've changed it to like the new church symbol or something like that. But it's been going on. It's not something new. People have already died as part of the tribulations of the last days. You look at this person right here, George F. Vaughn. I think that's Lieutenant Commander. I'm not sure. I'm not a Navy person, but I'm guessing that's Lieutenant Commander, U.S. Navy, Vietnam. Thank you for your service, and we hope to see you soon in the resurrection. Okay, Revelation 14:14 through 20, 2 harvests. John described 2 harvests in Revelation 14:14 through 20, which are reminiscent of those described in the parable of the wheat and the tares. The first harvest gathers out the righteous from the wicked. This gathering began when the gospel was restored in the last days and will continue into the millennium. Let's see, the wine press, men crushing grapes with their feet in a wine press during Old Testament times. Again, gross. I would never drink that. The second gathering represents God's judgments upon the wicked in the destruction that will come upon them when they, like grapes on the vine, are fully ripe in iniquity and are trodden in the winepress of the wrath of God. Okay, and that's it for chapter 14. So I feel like the book of Revelation, it's a lot more spiritual than it is literal, although there are literal things in it. And I've been working really hard to sort out what those are, but not by me thinking, going to statements by church leaders, in particular prophets. And Joseph Smith has said a lot of things about the book of Revelation. So like I said, like I said earlier, the 4 beasts and the 24 elders, those were actual 4 beasts and 24 elders that John actually saw in the vision. And it wasn't a prophecy of the future, because I've seen people interpret it as like, oh, that's something that's going to happen in the future. No, that was something that he saw at that time. He was witnessing basically the creations of God, worshiping God. And you had these 4 beasts and the 24 elders, which he said were elders from those original like 7 churches at the time of Christ. His original church that he set up, that they had passed on, and they were in the spirit world. Okay, so that was something that was actual, that he actually saw. But other things like the mark of the beast and these different like time frames, 3.5 and so on and so forth, seem to be more spiritual in nature. And so you can't really fault anybody for getting confused reading the book of Revelation, especially those that are not members of our church. They're just doing the best that they can. But thankfully, we are in the true church, and we have the key to interpreting the revelation and understanding what the different things mean. We have lots of different tools at our disposal, including the chapter headings first, and then after that, the footnotes, okay, including Joseph Smith translations, and then on top of that, we have Doctrine and Covenants, especially section 77. That's a question and answer thing about the book of Revelation. And then on top of that, we have quotes from prophets, even Joseph Smith himself, that explain a lot of these things. So it takes work, but that's what you got to do to understand this. And of course, have the Spirit with you. But I feel like there's a lot of people that they're like, oh, I'll just read this and I'll just use the Spirit. And I don't think it quite works that way. I think that it can, if the Spirit really is going to expound all that to you. But I think sometimes people read this and they think that they have the Spirit interpreting things, but then they come out with just wild interpretations. And so we would do well to listen to what the Spirit has already told prophets, apostles, and general authorities about this book. Okay, well, that's going to be it for this one. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also, make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.